Hello, I'm Gwen Heeney.
Hello, and I'm Vicky Shaw. I'm the course leader for ceramics at Wolverhampton, and we both teach together.
We've come together on this project as two artists doing very different things. I'm a public artist. Oh, gosh. I'm a public artist, making public art for the environment. I use brick, and I work with the brick industry all over the world. I use wet brick. I'm Vicky.
I'm a designer maker, and
It's not going the right way. Oh, sorry.
and I work with printed surfaces on vessels and wall panels. So our project is, as you can see, is called Connectivity, and we're trying to bring these two areas together within this project.
One of the things that I've been looking at recently is reflectivity on brick, using researching into glazes to make brick reflective. And Vicky has...
This is a project I did in 2005 at the German Porcelain Museum, which is in Selb, which Andrew Briggs mentioned in his earlier project. Yes, so these are some of the wall panels which are directly screen printed, and this project really was about dealing with sort of different aspects of my work, but also it also gave me the interest of working on much larger scales.
I've obviously been working on things which are pretty large scale as far as brick is concerned, hand carved, a lot of it. Also working with industry and asking industry to produce different bricks, going into the industry and actually carving the bricks. And so on this project that we're going to show you now, the Ibstock Brick has actually sponsored us. And with Vicky...
This is some work I've recently had on show in London in Contemporary Applied Arts. But also I've worked with Wedgwood on projects in the past, developing individual collections using the jasper ware. So the jasper and the bone china is something that we've also brought into this project because Wedgwood has sponsored us with materials as well.
So we're sponsored by two industries, Ibstock and Wedgwood. I've also worked on a lot of community projects with architects. This was Pen Island Youth Shelters project, which was a project all over the country, working with the community and architects for looking at youth all over the country and how we could include them.
I mean, I also work with form as well, but Gwen's obviously strong interest in the form and my decorative surface are the two things really that we've been interested in combining together in this project.
Also looking at colour, print, myself on large scale 3D forms, Vicky mainly on flat forms.
I mean, it's been a very interesting journey bringing these two things together. It's been very exciting what's come out of it. Again, this is another image of the setting up of the installation of my exhibition at the German Porcelain Museum, which is showing a range of the work that I'm involved in.
And some other sort of... This is a Greenway site up at Ripley, which I worked on with a series of artists. But also looking into the regeneration of cities, places, is really important in what we've been thinking about this project.
And this is a close-up of some of the surfaces using the printed and glazed quantities.
And some of the seating that I've been doing in the past. We need to get onto the project.
Yes. That's, again, another image from the exhibition.
I have pressed it. Right. So the project that we have taken on, we're looking at connecting key heritage sites, cities around Stoke. We've looked at one of the things that we really liked was the Etruria Industrial Museum. So we went there, and this is the start of our project, was taking loads of photographs.
This is how we started. We started collecting inspiration through photography. We did lots of drawing and started to bring the ideas together. We settled initially on this key site, although we've looked very broadly across the city, but this is our first site where we started to develop ideas for.
Yeah, looking at, did some research, went there several days, saw how people would stop on the barge and put their seats out, and we're thinking about looking at seating. All the ideas were all coming from the imagery that we saw at the museum.
So these are some of the initial drawings that we studied. I've developed quite a lot of printed surfaces. We've brought the forms and the sort of ideas together as compositions, which in the top right-hand side start to give some impressions of where we're looking.
Making models, which was quite interesting, looking at the site and how the things might interact.
We also looked much broader because of Burslem having the fantastic heritage and the buildings. We also met with Julian Reid, who's responsible for the regeneration of Burslem, and he was really sort of keen on the sort of particular sites in Burslem, and we really got excited about this town, this city, this square in Burslem. So we've also developed ideas for this particular site.
Using also the Arnold Bennett theme, which we really like the idea of using the A and B in a more abstract form.
So these are some of the close-ups of some of the surfaces that we've developed as ceramic surfaces on the blue-black brick, which was sponsored for us with Ibstock, and these are already fired, and we've developed surfaces on these bricks, refired them ourselves. And looking at the A and B sort of seating that we might put in the square, walling. We're also going to be looking at flooring. So the Arnold Bennett theme obviously is very, very strong, and particularly in Burslem there's a trail there, and it was an idea that we had to maybe, make a greater celebration of this. And I think it's not just celebrating the Arnold Bennett, but also celebrating some of the things that have been mentioned earlier about the fabric of the city, the ceramic heritage that exists in this area.
And also, because of the way we work, which is very much with the material, we're looking at bringing a much more sensual feeling and something that's transferable across the towns, across the city, in different spaces. So it has a new look to it. There's the A and B wall.
So this is sort of essentially a sort of prototype, really showing how that form could work in that particular square. We did extensive testing because we're both makers, we work through process and material, and it was very important for us to work ceramically because that's what excites us at the end of the day.
Yeah. Looking at putting porcelain into brick, slicing it, doing all sorts of things with, and also the jasperware and the
China, because in our initial proposal for this project, it was to bring not only just two artists together, but two industries together, two contrasting materials together. So part of our innovation really was to see how bone china, how porcelain or jasper could be combined with brick, which is quite interesting but challenging at the same time.
Yeah. Looking at gold reflective glazes, as you can see here, how you might do sort of large-scale pieces in reflective glazes that will give off light.
Also, we looked at the sort of slicing and sort of decorative and sort of textural surface. This is an example of the porcelain working with the brick, which is, as you know, porcelain is very fine material, very pure, and that's the sort of side that I'm interested in, but also bringing it together with this decorative surface, after all, on a humble brick, which is, I think, something that we found very interesting.
And that's our testing table down in the exhibition room down there. Sort of even rolling bricks with porcelain, all sorts of things. It's very exciting, actually.
And this is a section really on a larger scale, just to show, which again is in the exhibition, to show how this surface could work. It's very transferable. It could, in this case, it's a vertical surface, but it could work as flooring. It could wrap around form. So we see this as a sort of decorative surface that could be applied across the city in maybe a number of locations.
And that's us printing and finishing.
So it's been a very practical and exciting, innovative journey for us both. Yeah. Thank you very much.